Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Side Dish. We're going to start doing our Thanksgiving series. We're starting in October, so you have all the recipes ready for through November. We're going to start with a real simple one that will kind of be the staple or the hold together, which everybody loves. We're going to start with mashed potatoes. Now, there's like a million ways that you could do mashed potatoes, right? You can just get them, boil them, mash them up with a potato masher, and go from there. We are going to do a little fancy. I like to add cream, and this is cultured sour cream. If you can find creme fraiche, I would get some creme fraiche. Salt, pepper, and then butter. That's it. Oh, and garlic. We're gonna use some garlic inside boiling the potatoes so that we infuse the potatoes and the water that they're boiling in with the garlic flavor. And then we're gonna actually take a potato ricer, which I'll show you. Where is the potato ricer? Do we know? It's in here somewhere. We'll find it.
We'll find it.
But it's, I'll show you, because we want to, when we get the ricing, we'll show you what it does. But that's the thing. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna talk about potatoes. So previous potato episodes, we've been using russet potatoes. But we're going to use Yukon Gold today because they are, they're not as starchy. If you've ever made mashed potatoes and you've gotten them done, you've added a little cream or a little butter or whatever, and then they get cold, it turns into wallpaper paste. And it's because of the amount of starch that's in the potatoes, and that causes it to sort of tighten up in that. So we're going to use, we probably will use all of this cream. This is a pint, but the potatoes can take it. You're going to be shocked at how much they can actually take and hold together.
But just by themselves, these are creamier potatoes.
Exactly. Amy is right on that. Amy's here. Colton's here today. We are, I like these. They're really good flavor. Now, these are just general Yukon Golds. There are a million varieties of gold potatoes that you can find. Some taste better, so you know, if you got a farmer's market or you're in a potato land where you have a myriad of different potatoes at your disposal of different varieties, look into them. Get a few, test them out, and see what you like. I don't have that option. We just have Yukon Golds around here. So, or grow your own. That'd even be even better. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna peel them. I don't want the skins on these because they're, you know, you could have skins on. If you're gonna do a skins on mashed potato, use a red potato. I think the skins they're not as tough. These are also probably okay, but I want a smooth potato. I like a mashed potato that's super smooth, and I don't want any chunks in it. And that's why we're gonna use a potato ricer. So, starting with, we're just gonna do a quick peel.
Are you gonna wash them?
Am I gonna wash them? These have been washed.
Okay.
These can, I mean, you can see how much cleaner these are than say a russet potato. So, and because we're taking the peels off, we don't need to wash them. So, if we were going to. But you can honestly see the difference already in the color of the flesh. Instead of being that kind of white, it's yellowy gold, hence the name. So I don't think we're very creative when we're naming certain things. We're like, oh, that looks gold, and it came from the Yukon. So anyways.
Hey, sometimes simple is best.
That's right. I think a good mashed potato is sort of the cornerstone of a good Thanksgiving meal. You've got the turkey, that's a given, or whatever it is you're gonna eat as your main dish. But the mashed potatoes, if you don't like them, it sort of influences the rest of the sides that come with it. And I like I say, I like to start with a mashed potato and then move my way around. Stuffing is next, and then, you know, all that. We are gonna get into all of these, the classic staples of a Thanksgiving meal, sides, because to me, Thanksgiving is sort of the king of the side dish episode, not episode, but of the meal, right? You've got the turkey, but you also have a plate that's not just one or two. You've usually got 4, 5, 6 different side dishes that are there. Sweet, savory, I mean, you have the whole gambit. We were talking about the other day about like ambrosia salad, which is, you know, whipped, like Cool Whip and whipped cream and fruit. And it's such a juxtaposition to the richness of all the other foods that you're eating, but people love it. Or sweet potatoes, right? You're eating a sweet when you're eating your main dish, but it's like, it's what you do. There's not many other meals that have that. Maybe New Year's, where people make a prime rib and they have a bunch of different sides with it. But I think at this point, you know, Thanksgiving is the king of the meals that have side dishes accompanied it. So that's why we're going to make a huge deal out of bringing them up. And this year we're going to go straight traditional with the stuff that we're using. We're going to upsell a little bit on a few of them. Like we love just canned green beans and the mushroom soup and the onions on top for a green bean casserole. There's nothing wrong with that. We love it. That's usually what we make. We are going to up it a little bit and try and see if we can put a little bit more into it and see what we can get out of it for that. So that's where we're going to start there. But nice and clean, and that's what you're going to want your potatoes to look like.
And how many are you doing, or how?
Oh, I should. Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm doing the recipes for what we consider what our Thanksgiving is. So like this is 5 pounds of potatoes. So everything in scale will be to the 5 pounds of potatoes that we do here. So that's sort of take that into account as we move forward with everything. So scale based on the amount of people you're going to have. Again, I like to have more mashed potatoes than we might need because it is good for the next few days for sandwiches and everything else that goes in
And
there.
how many people do we typically have?
I think last year we had 12 or 15.
Yeah, I think we have like 10 to 12.
Yeah. So this should be enough. I mean, you know, there's so many other things to go along with it. 5 pounds potatoes for even that many. If you're looking at 10 or 12 people, it's that's a little bit less than half a pound of potato per person for the meal. That's a lot when you're thinking about, and I never understand that for Thanksgiving, especially when they're talking about like, you should get if you've got 12 people, you should have a 24-pound turkey because 12 people are going to eat 2 pounds of turkey and 5 pounds of sides. You don't maybe necessarily need that. But again, everything that we're making is going to hold over really well, and it's the king of like leftovers as well. So like it holds, it reheats really well. So just take your time. Keep your peels. They can go in your composter, or I think I can feed these to the worms. I'd have to fact check that. But so that's where I'm going to take some time. I'm going to peel the rest of these potatoes and then we'll come back. All right. So now we're back. We got them back all peeled. So
I did a very good job.
she did. I did find the ricer. It looks like a giant, as Colton pointed out, it looks like a giant garlic press, which is not inaccurate. It does have holes on the bottom. It has the chamber that the potatoes go in. Press them through. You're not going to get any chunks in here. Now,
Sometimes it has holes on the side. Our old one had holes on the side, didn't it?
yeah, it just made a mess. It really didn't help. This concentrates the force down and everything gets pushed through.
Yeah.
So that's why I like this one better. This is an OXO. OXO is a good company. They make good stuff. This is also OXO, good grips. So go OXO. We'll get into it more when we do the actual mashing, but there's, if you like different textures in your potatoes, mashed potatoes, then, mash them up, whatever.
Talk about the peels.
Yeah, we looked it up. Don't use these in your worm composting. You can use them in regular composting. There's a compound in the peels called solanine. Solanine acts as a natural pesticide when it starts to break down. So, we think here at the Old Side Dish family that if you were to dry these and then powder them, you could probably spread them around your plants and it might help with pests. So that's a fun fact for you today. So I'm just going to demonstrate real quick what you're looking for. We've talked about this before when we boiled potatoes. Consistency in the size of your chunks is key because we want everything to cook at the same time and get to the same softness at the same time. So you don't have some that are super hard, some that are not. Especially in the mashed potatoes, you want them to be pretty consistent. So again, potatoes don't have a flat edge, so let's go ahead and give ourselves a flat edge to work from. It's just going to help from not, moving around, and you've got a better. You can probably, what is that? My cat hair. We have 4 cats, and so there's cat hair everywhere. Don't worry.
It's protein.
So I'm just going to cut that in half again. And the one thing, I'm going to keep my hand on the top, and I am going to cut it through here and get a kind of, so now I got 4 pieces. They're roughly the same height. And now I'm just going to, I'd say, what is that, half an inch, quarter of an inch?
I'd say it's 3/4 of an inch.
I mean, right around there. I'm eyeballing it, so they're pretty much
They're pretty consistent.
all the way through. So that's, and I'm going to put them in this pot, no water. We've talked about that before. We want to make sure we know how many potatoes we have, and then we're just going to fill it up to just above that a little bit. And then when we get the water in there, that's when we're going to salt the hell out of it. So,
One more to demo?
we're gonna this half one, and then we'll cut them and come back, because I don't want to. I mean, that's a lot of potatoes to cut. I'm entertaining, but not that entertaining. So, one thing I do want to hear is what your favorite side dish, Thanksgiving side dish is. Is there something that your family does that you think like it's unique to your family? I'd love to hear that. What is your least favorite Thanksgiving side dish? So put those in the comments below, and then we'll take a look and we'll see what the consensus is, and we'll talk about it in the next episode. All right, so we're going to take a quick side here, and we're going to cut all these, and we'll come back. Okay, so we're back. We've got our 5 pounds of potatoes in a uniform cut. So you can see that's a lot of potatoes in that pot, that's fine. We're only going to go like below the rivet here for the water line. So let's get these out of the way real quick. Let's talk about garlic. Now there's 8 cloves, but they're smaller. I thought there were 6, but some of them were together. This is perfect. I'm going to add this directly to inside of here, but I'm just going to crush it, and I'm going to open it up, and then that's going to get the Allison inside of there kind of happy and come together, and it's going to be real flavor. So just take the heel of your knife, a little pressure, and it's going to flatten it out. And if you get a little skin in there, it doesn't really matter, but be sure to peel these. I'm not taking the little nubs off because, again, they're going to soften and be fine. So, yeah. Oh, we were talking about Thanksgiving pie a little bit, and we're wondering what your favorite pie is. And is there not we started making a cherry pie because Amy's cousin requested one once for Thanksgiving, and people were like, cherry pie for Thanksgiving, but it's really, really good. I know my mother used to make 8 pies, like banana cream pie, and
that's not a traditional Thanksgiving pie.
No, but my grandfather and my dad used to eat, I swear to God, one of those a piece. So the other thing, so what we're going to do is go to the sink here.
Ooh. Oh, please. Okay.
Okay. And we're just going to fill it up. So I'm going to start with cold water. I mean, that's what I've been taught to do, so that's what I'm doing. I used to do it when I was a kid and helping my mom. We'd fill it all the way up. But I was watching Good Eats with Alton Brown, and he explained that if you use too much water, the potatoes can become over mushed, right? So let's do a little bit here.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Again, I've only got it filled up to right below the rivets here where the handles are.
Yeah.
So, like we've talked about with salt in the past, since the salt is going into the cooking liquid, we want a lot of it so that it can be imparted into the potatoes as it cooks. Not all of the salt I add to the water is going to go into the potatoes, so they won't be over salted, but we want them to be, we do want them to be salted. And I learned this trick from Samim Nosrat, who salt, fat, heat, and acid. I think that's the order, but she has a book and it talks about it. I highly recommend getting it because it will open your eyes to sort of how much more as home cooks we don't salt enough, or we don't use it at the right time in the right method. So definitely look out and get it. And when we post this, we'll post a link to the book in the description so you can at least look at it. I have it. It's a big book. It's really awesome though. So, I mean, I'm taking like probably at least 3 big pinches. And that's probably it. That's good.
Oh,
So, I just did that so I could see Amy's face. So next thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna go over to the stove here, and then I'm going on high. You're not gonna hurt. We wanted to get them to a boil. We're looking for fort tender. So as soon as this starts boiling up, and it's 15, 20 minutes, I would say. And then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll start the process of putting it all together through the ricing and everything. And I just put it back in the same container. And then to do all that, because it's hot and I want the heat to continue, and I put this on low. So when we come back in a few seconds here, we'll see that, and we'll go from there.
covered, not covered?
Nope, I don't cover it right now because of the starch. There is a limited amount of starch in there, but if you've ever put a lid on boiling pasta or potatoes, it will cause the starch in the water to build up, and it will overflow.
Okay.
So that's why we don't do that. So,
All right.
All right. We'll be back here in a few, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're back, everybody. I think this was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, longer than you said.
Yeah, 30 minutes, and the reason why is because of the amount of potatoes we had. They are fork tender. The ones I tested.
Okay, show them to us.
I can smell. I'm gonna pull one out just so you can see. And I've got a handy dandy little thing here. Let's find a good one. Nope, here we go. No, come on. You're just looking, so.
Okay.
Should go right in. There's a little resistance, but that's okay. You don't want them to be like super mushy. That's why the amount of water is important. Also, you can smell the garlic. It's not overwhelming smell, but it's enough so, like the salt, that flavor has infused into the potatoes in a big way. So, I'm just gonna drain these real quick. And just a regular colander. And then we're gonna use this because that's where everything's going back into.
Ooh, less dishes. Good job. You're getting a nice steam facial there.
Oh,
Garlicky
it
steam
smells so good. So I'm gonna keep this in the sink, and then now this pot is just too long, but that's what the handles are for. That's why they have rubber on each, so you can set it aside. Ta-da!
Fancy.
I know. It's like a product designer knew what they were doing. So all I'm doing is I'm just gonna take, potatoes and fill this up. It's all very hot.
Can you maybe turn it to the side a bit more? The whole pot. There you go.
And I'm doing the garlic too. And spoon is upside down. That's probably why it's not helping me very much. Don't overcrowd this. Man, some days it's easier to be a human being than others. So I'm just, and I'm going to lift this up so you can see it.
What happens.
So see the liquid is going to come out of this too, but that's good.
Ooh, that's smooth.
Now, And then there are going to be leavings in there. So just, use your fork that you use for checking the tenderness, or the doneness, not tenderness. If you wanted to at this point, if you don't want them this smooth, use your potato masher. I don't think the design of this has changed in 100 years. This one is older.
Maybe 200 years.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. Smash it down, get the consistency you want. You could let these cool and do it by hand if you really wanted to. I don't recommend it though. So I'm gonna show this because we've never really showed this, and it doesn't take too long. Because again, sometimes I drop them in there. Again, consistency is key here for me. So, and then I just keep going. So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna seem like a lot, but it's really not that much. So we're doing 5 pounds of potatoes here and 8 cloves of garlic. So you can get 2 or 3 scoops in at each time. And then again, you can see the potatoes are already starting to sort of like the outer edges that are more cooked than the inside.
Drop tone on the right.
I saw that. And right here too. Boop. I'm gonna push these down a little bit. And same thing. It's fun to watch, so let's just watch it again.
It reminds me of the hair Play-Doh tool.
Ooh, that's a good reference.
Yeah, that thing was fun.
They also had one, and maybe you had it as well, but it was one to do like spaghetti
Yeah.
for like a cook shop. I had that one when I was a kid. Ooh, don't lose that.
Of course you did.
So I was like,
Some foreshadowing in your life.
probably. Also, I mean, my grandfather was a cook, and
Yeah.
so all of that fun stuff. All right, so now that we've seen it a little bit more, I'm going to do the rest of these, and then we'll come back, and then we'll finalize it all up
Jazz it
and
up.
do with all the stuff, and we'll go through. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so we are back. We've gone ahead and riced everything. Now, this is where you're gonna go, holy shit, that's a lot of stuff. But I'm not gonna salt. I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take a little bit of this and see if I need to add any salt. No, you can eat those how they are. Very good. They're a little dry, but we're gonna take care of that. You're gonna see me add a lot of things, and you're gonna go, that's too much. It's not, believe me. We're gonna add 2 sticks of butter. 2 sticks. This is an eye-opener probably for Amy because she doesn't really see me make the mashed potatoes during Thanksgiving and not what goes into them. So,
Unsalted butter.
this is unsalted butter, yes. You could use salted if you lessen the salt that you put in the water. Again, don't use that. If you're gonna use it as an accompaniment to toast or something like that goes on top, and you want a little extra butter, use that salted butter. But I don't really do that. Now the potatoes are hot enough at this point that everything I put in here, especially in the butter wise, is gonna melt pretty quickly. The potatoes are very absorbent, right? Like if you've ever made instant potatoes, that's just dried, it's just dried potatoes that have been, and you add water and they fluff right back up and are delicious. This is the same principle, but we're just kind of stuffing the potato starches to the gills with cream, sour cream, or creme fraiche and butter. So, you're gonna think, oh man, that's too much. No, it's gonna hold it together pretty well. So, all right, 2 sticks of butter. Now, this is a pint. We're gonna not pour all this in at once because actually, let's start with the sour cream. This is, I think, 16 ounces, so this is also a pint. Yeah, we don't need all this. We need about 8 ounces of this, so about half. It's gonna add a really nice tang to it. You could use a little, if you didn't have this, you could use a little buttermilk. That would be really good too. But I like this cultured sour cream or creme fraiche, and that way you just get that's about half. Oh yeah, you can smell like the culture in there, so it's a little bit acidic and it's really good. You can make that yourself. So most things are good. So I'm gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna see what it looks like. It's gonna start to come together, and it's also going to start clumping the riced potato into a single sort of potato vessel here for everything. And as the butter melts, I was just gonna move it forward. That's good minds. You're gonna start to see it sort of loosen a little bit, but not enough because it's not that much. So you can see like looks a little dry, right? You want it to have a little bit more. So that's why when we're gonna add the cream. I've stated before on this show that if I'm gonna cook something, I want it to taste good. And butter and cream and salt and pepper and those things, they taste good. And I want my food to taste like something. They're still gonna taste like potatoes. They're just gonna be boosted. So as the butter melts a little bit more, we'll go ahead and some of this. Now, fresh cream. This is from Fallon, same stuff. Take a lid and you need to shake it. Because cream rises, it separates, and the fat stuff is at the top. So, yeah. All right. The butter will come together. And then what I would also do is if you want, so I'm gonna pour like half of that in there, maybe. And then I'm gonna understand where I need to go from there. Plus, normally I would have this on the burner, but there's enough radiant heat still that everything's melting. But I would have the burner on low just to keep it a constant and help everything come together and that. So you can already see a consistency difference between the potatoes that I pulled up before and what we had now, just from that little bit of cream, because it brings it together. It's basically kind of emulsifying everything together, and that's what we want. Now, my personal opinion is we need the rest of this. We don't need any more of this, because really this is just for a tang and that. But I know what you're thinking, Abe. I see your face. You're thinking that's...
You think you're going to put all that cream in there? I don't think you need all that.
Oh, well, you will be amazed. It's going to loosen up, and then it's going to do what it needs to do.
I think that looks like a good...
I know. But I think it looks chunky and a little dry, so.
Don't put it all in there. Maybe just... Yeah.
All right.
Now you have 2/3. Whoa, splashy.
I'm telling you, you think it's not going to take it all, but it is going to take it. I want it creamy, I want it delicious, and see, it's already gone. Yeah, I'm putting the rest in there. I know what it takes. I've done it a million times, folks. It's gonna get to that spot and you're gonna be like, oh, that's too much cream. But the cream is thick in and of itself, right? And it's gonna just become this delicious, deliciousness.
It's too much. Nope.
Nope.
You're right. It just sucks it up.
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't doubt you.
You know what I'm talking about sometimes. Oh yeah. So now we've got, oh my God, my arm is hurting from stirring. It is fun.
Would you do this with the stand mixer?
I think you could you might be able to with a paddle. I don't, again, as I'm doing this, if I'm stretched for time.
Because it's kind of like batter. I mean, could you do it with the whisk?
Oh.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. See? Yeah, we did it, folks. Another amazing. Now, mashed potatoes are one of the things that you could go like this, and you should treat yourself. But you could be potatoes, salt, pepper, butter, and you'd be good to go. But I've learned that these are really great. If you wanted to, you could. The French have those cheesy potatoes.
Oh yeah.
I've never been able, I can't remember what they're called, but I've never been able to get
It's
them.
Aligot. I don't know how to pronounce it though.
Yeah.
I made them once.
Yeah, I just never got it. It was not like they show where it's like you pull it up.
Broke, yeah.
Yeah, and you could, I mean, literally, if this was with the cheese in it, it would
was
stretch
so
all the
much
way
cheese in it.
through. I mean, I think it's like a pound of cheese or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
crazy.
It's crazy amount. But it's a special cheese that they use that we were able to get, I think, from Whole Foods or somewhere like
Yeah.
that. All right, let's do a little taste test here and see. I think it's going to need white pepper, I can tell you that off the top of my head. It's so good, though. So, I like a good amount of pepper in here. White pepper is going to be a lot mellower than black, so I'm just going to kind of throw it in there. Plus, also, it's going to blend in with the potatoes, so you'll have a nice, you know. And the salt, I would leave it as it is, because salt it on your plate if you want to add extra salt. But this to me is perfect. So I'm going to give, after I do this, I'm going to taste it again, and then Amy's going to taste it, and then we'll see how it goes. So now we have mashed potatoes for the whole week. Aren't you excited about that?
I am excited.
Yeah. Because I made, this is, like I said, 5 pounds. This is what, we'll eat almost all of this on Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good.
It's so good. See?
Nicely done.
Woo! So good. And that's it. We did it. We got it through another one. I can't continue to not say thank you enough for just tuning in every week. It means a lot to me. It also is like keeps us going. I don't know what episode this will be, but you'll get an announcement about it. But last Saturday's was episode 18, which is crazy to think about that we've been doing this for 18 weeks. We're thinking about something maybe for 20, but I think we're going to hold off on a special episode for 25 and then really get into that. So once again, thanks for joining us on Side Dish. And remember, be kind, be loyal, and go out and do something nice for somebody else this week. And thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.